Unfortunately, the war in Ukraine is still ongoing. There are drone attacks every night all over Ukraine. There are heavy missile attacks, and the enemy is hitting residential civilian buildings in Kyiv, Zaporizhia, Dnipro, and Kaminsky regularly.
I attend all of our group meetings with the psychologist, and every time I see people who are truly traumatized due to the war. It's most visible in women, the moms of young children, and teenagers. Their emotion and their trauma spread to their kids. Parents cannot protect their kids during the war. This causes their relationship to worsen. Moms share that they feel separated from their kids.
As the war has continued, PHA has become more and more aware of the need to help people meet their emotional trauma needs. This war has affected far more than just physical. We see children who are struggling, and we see adults who are struggling, and we see elderly people who are struggling. And we've realized that this is a core component of what PHA needs to be serving the Ukrainian people, how PHA needs to be serving the Ukrainian people.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I work in the Woodlands, Texas, just north of Houston. But I've also had the privilege of working with PHA staff in Ukraine. This is just the reality for people who are living in Ukraine, and this has been their reality for years now. A very difficult and traumatic experience. And the thing about trauma is whether it shows up in your personal life or it comes from something like this, being in a situation of war for a number of years, is that trauma, it's sort of like a computer. It makes your brain like a computer that has too many tabs open. It's too much for the brain to process at one time. And so if you've ever had a computer with too many tabs open, sometimes you'll get that wheel that just keeps spinning because it's too much for it to process. And that's how trauma, in a simple way, affects the human psyche. And it can be very disruptive, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sometimes even physically. And this is the reality for many people living in Ukraine.
Addressing people's emotional needs and spiritual needs really can't be separated. They go hand in hand. It's hard for someone who's in deep emotional stress to get past that in a healthy way without that spiritual component. We need to meet both those needs together.
Please understand that this help is needed right in this moment.